So a lot of people have been asking me about Needoh recently, specifically if I am jealous of them. And the truth is complicated. They have sold through, from what I read, what they thought was a year's worth of inventory in the first 9 weeks of the year. And right now, they're pretty much in stock nowhere because they're rushing to try to get more and the demand is just so damn high. This means rushing to produce more and then using express air shipments to get them here, which is really, really expensive compared to normal manufacturing schedules and shipping via ocean freight. Ask me how I know. This is pure speculation. I have absolutely no insider info, but this could also mean that they're opening up with new factories that have never made Needohs before to try to keep up with demand, which adds a ton of complexity and a ton of extra costs. And then there's the question of how long does this last? Are we already past the peak? Are we not even at the peak yet? Is it going to stay at the peak like for a month or for 10 months? You can't answer that question. And that makes planning the business borderline impossible. If you're not at the peak yet, you need to order way more inventory. And if you're already past the peak, if you order that amount of inventory, you could kill your business. Because if you order a ton of inventory thinking that, okay, it's going to continue selling at this rate for a while, you can invest like all of your company's cash into all this inventory that has way lower margin due to rushing to get it here. And then you can end up sitting on that for 3 to 5 years and just cash starve your business. Now there's also the question of, do you hire extra people to deal with this crazy logistical insanity they have going on, and the fact that their sales are so much higher, and that adds a lot more complication as well that you need people to deal with. But if the trend dies down quickly, then what happens to those people? There's no right answers of how Needoh should react in this situation. So actually, overwhelmingly, no, I am not envious of them. In fact, I feel kind of bad for them. This sounds really stressful. Obviously, the pro of this situation is they're making tons of money, but it's also the kind of thing where, Peloton sold 1,000,001 exercise pieces of equipment during COVID, and then nobody bought Pelotons for like years afterwards because everyone that wanted a Peloton bought one. You just pulled that demand forward and you sold them something that had much lower margins at the time because that's when they wanted to buy it. This year we are only up 300% above our plan, which is great, but it's also insanely complicated. It makes things much more difficult than they otherwise would have been. They are up like 30,000% above their plan. I cannot even imagine how complicated and stressful things are for them right now, even with the higher sales. Maybe I'm way off. Maybe they're just having the time of their lives. But looking at this from a business owner's perspective, I'm not envious. So Godspeed, Needoh, and best of luck.